Rightio, welcome everyone to Haras the Trotteur. Louise Toulmin, firstly, welcome. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for coming, Paul.
Very chuffed. My business keeps growing and I'm rapt to have Yabby Dam Farms and Haras the Trotteur come on board, and also very excited about announcements for some of these trotters and things going on. So firstly, how long have you been here with Yabby Dam or Haras the Trotteur?
So I started here on the 1st of July last year. So we've had 12 months, and I thought that, after having 12 months experience, I'd find this a little bit easier going into another stud season. But yeah, it's a lot of work, and we've got some really, really exciting announcements at Haras the Trotters this year, with Pat purchasing the Southern Hemisphere rights of a new stallion from France, Classic Connection.
We'll go with Classic Connection first, and how good he is. He's a Group 1 winning horse. He won the German Derby, and one of the things I should have checked with Pat is the German Derby is a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old race, but it doesn't matter anyway. It's a quality Group 1 race, and he won quite a few Group 2 races. He's a highly credentialed horse and brings a bit of uniqueness with his breeding as well. He's a son of Love You, but he has that Canadian connection as well, which works so well here in Australia. Yeah,
so he's got that French-American breed, with his mother being a 2-year-old USA Trotter of the Year and Canadian of the Year. And, if you only have to look through her pedigree or his pedigree, you can see that there's dominant, really well-credentialed race-winning mares all the way through his pedigree.
Now, he is going to be here, quite often there's a lot of frozen horses, frozen semen comes here. This horse is actually going to be he's going to be the first shuttle stallion to have semen both in Australia and New Zealand. And that is key, that he's the first shuttle stallion to come from Europe, or anywhere, but to be coming from Europe and from France, a place where they don't like giving up their trotters either, do they?
No, well, Pat actually, talked about this horse a number of months ago and was actually talking about trying to buy him outright. But Mr. Dubois didn't want to sell him totally down to Pat, but was happy to sell his Southern Hemisphere rights, because he's going to be breeding a lot of his non-French mares or non-French studbook mares to Classic Connection. So that's as much a positive for us, because he's wanting to breed his mares to him as well.
I did a little bit of Googling and research, and Mr. Dubois, you've got to do more Googling, and I ran out of time, but he is a very, very interesting racing person, not just a trotting person. He's a racing person purely, and he's got quite an interesting background, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's a world-renowned breeder of not just trotters, but of thoroughbreds as well, and he's been highly successful, and we're hoping that Classic Connection will do the same job for him over there and for us here.
And it's one of those little ones that I read a story about. The Canadian horses are almost ready just to go. They're ready to go horses. He said the French horses are very big and strong, and he reckons this is where Classic Connection, and I think I'd say that's where he's got his name from, because that was one of the little things he had in his breeding. One of the parts I saw about Classic Connection was that he incorporates both. He's a son of Love You, which for starters doesn't need any more explaining than that in itself, because Love You is just doing a phenomenal job, full stop.
Yeah, well, Love You, has been dominant worldwide. It's not just in New Zealand where, he's highly sought after, but, he's sort of worldwide. So he's dominant. He's in the top 2 or 3 of the sires stats across the board. So we're not just talking New Zealand, Australia, for his small little numbers that he's got in America. He had the 2-year-old of the year last year in America in Venerate. So, dominant throughout, France, Sweden, Italy.
And importantly too, 2 of his sons in France, one of the hardest areas ever to make yourself as a stallion. 2 of those are in the top 5. Don't worry about top 10, top 5 stallions in France right as we speak.
Yeah, right as we speak. So Love You sitting 3rd on the list, followed by both the Royal I forgot his name, gone a bit, Royal Dream and Village Mystic.
Done better than me. Don't worry about that. I have a lot of stuff written down in front of me. Normally I don't have a lot. Rightio. So we've got a few people here that are tuned in. There'll be a lot of trotting people. There'll be a lot of trotting people coming back. A horse like this with credentials like he has what sort of service fee are we going to be looking at for him to be standing in here and it is not frozen semen. This is the best part about it. Like for a lot of people, it's chilled semen, so it's a lot easier for them to be able to get their head around.
Yep. So he's standing because we're to both markets, both New Zealand and Australia. Of course, we advertise it differently. So in Australia, he's 5,500, including GST, and in New Zealand, he stands for 5,000 plus GST. So it sort of sounds funny, but of course the GST in New Zealand is 15%, not 10%.
Right, so that is the different component of that, and it's got there like he's a son of Love You, champion sire, and what do you have? 36 starts, 8 wins, a Group 1, a couple of Group 2s, and Pat was alluding to just there before that there was the last tour to France. He won actually on one of the race meetings that they were there. So Mark Hughes and Matt Craven, they would have seen him in the flesh, and I know they actually went and saw Love You. Actually, Tim Butt was there as well, and they went and saw Love You, and they took some photos. Chris Finozio, he's another one. No, I can remember all these guys that went on this junket, but the head on Love You was just phenomenal. And yeah, I remember Chris Finozio, he was just blown away by him. He said he could have just stood there and watched him all day. So. Yeah,
well, that was on pre-Demarique Day, I think. So, you know, one of the biggest race days on the calendar over there. So to win a race on that day might not have been that race, the main race of the day, but to win one on that day, it's pretty special. Absolutely.
Now, so that's okay. He's standing for 5,500. There is a kicker, because we haven't gone to all this trouble to get you in front of the camera, and the daughters will be rapt to see you in front of the camera. I'm sure that they've actually both tuned in, so they'll be judging you. Don't you worry about that. You normally throw them into there, but there is a great kicker with this and a great incentive for people to be able to get involved and breed to this horse, isn't there?
Yeah, so Pat, you know, has been extremely generous, and you know, he really believes in this horse. And what we are offering this year as an incentive for the breeder is to actually breed to Classic Connection, and if your 2-year-old wins as a 2-year-old, doesn't have to be a 2-year-old race, but as a 2-year-old. So some of the races, you know, might be with the new rating system, it might not be a 2-year-old race, but any race as a 2-year-old, you'll receive a $3,000 breeder's bonus.
And that's key, because not eligible for Vic Bred Pure, and that's another thing. But effectively this horse is a Vic Bred Pure, but the kicker, it goes to the breeder. So not the person that actually owns it and distributed that way through the drivers and everything else like this. The person that's going to turn around and put their money up, and there's a few little stipulations on it, one of which is it's got to be paid up before the 31st of March 2022, so you've still got plenty of time afterwards. But the person who actually pays that, when this horse wins a race as a 2-year-old, they get their $3,000 bonus.
That's right.
And that's key.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to reward the people that are supporting us, so our clients. And yeah, so the actual $3,000 will be paid to the person who signs the contract and nominates the bank account they want that paid into, will be the person we pay that bonus to. So they're eligible for a Vic Bred bonus as well of $9,000 on top of that. So it's it's very to be paid up for both your Vic Bred, but also for that. And there is another little kicker there as well, is if you are a VSTA, a New South Wales Trot, or, and I've got to get all these ones right, NBSBA, New Zealand Standard Breeders Association. That's right. Wow, I did good there. You'll receive $500 off the service fee. So it actually automatically drops back. That's before you get a live foal or anything else. It's already $500 cheaper. Yeah, so basically if you're a member of one of those associations, so if you're not, join up and support those organisations, yeah, you'll get $500 off the service fee. And then of course we have multiple mare discounts as well. So in saying that, you know, if you happen to breed, you know, 3 mares to Classic Connection, they all win, you're basically getting a service fee for nothing. The one thing there, don't throw your pen away, Paul, the one thing too that is very key in this is it is a 2-year-old race. It does not have to be in Victoria. It is Australia or New Zealand. That's correct. 2-year-old race. So a race as a 2-year-old, sorry. The horse wins a race as a 2-year-old trotter. That's right. It's just an official race ran by the authorities in those states or in New Zealand. Yeah, so it's not nominated to or by value of the race or anything like that. As long as it's an official race, in any state in Australia or New Zealand, you'll be eligible for that bonus.
So one, commit to going to him. Become a member of the VSTA. They've got their awards night tomorrow night at Melton. That may have actually just changed, I suppose, actually. So New South Wales Trot or the NZ you get $500 cheaper as it is. So that's a start. Pay before March 31, before 2022, and you then get the $3,000 bonus. Plus, if you win the race in Victoria, you get a $9,000 bonus. And I'm sure other states have other bonus schemes as well, potentially.
Well, yeah, New South Wales has an actual, their bonus, New South Wales Challenge bonus scheme actually rewards the breeder with one of their bonuses, that the breeder actually gets a $3,000 cash bonus. So plus the other one for the owner, which is another $3,000 certificate that the owner receives. So if you're actually the breeder of one of these classic connections, you actually have sold it at the sales, and with New South Wales based breeder, you'd actually get $6,000 when that foal wins, as a 2-year-old. And
that's right. So there's a lot of incentives to go to this horse, apart from the fact, beautifully bred, offers French and Canadian bloodlines, something that it hasn't got here in Australia. One thing Pat's been doing a long time is getting a lot of these breeds coming in and joining us, and really, I suppose, improving our racing product. I think making a huge difference to the racing product that we have here in Australia. We've got quite a few other announcements to come with the Stallion roster. This isn't going to be the only one, but a horse like Louise Toulmin, you must be wrapped with the job that he's been doing, especially like being a Group 1 winning sire already. A little bloke, don't care, like he's just done an awesome job, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, he's underrated, really. Louise Toulmin, he's here at the farm. He's just, I can't see why people wouldn't want to be breeding to him. If you want to say that we've got stallions from, $1,500, Louise Toulmin will stand for $2,000 this year, plus GST, still has his same multiple mare discounts. He's got an amazing fertility as well. So, we think that we'll probably get more people, come to him as well this year.
Yeah, which is key. We talked about sales, and I'm not going to hold him up for a lot longer. I've actually got him on the phone there, but with Mark Barton and the Nutrien equine sales, it was Yabby Dam. It was under Yabby Dam Farm for the sales. I get confused with which one's which, but we'll go Haras to Trotter. They was the first dip in the ocean, I suppose, with Nutrien last year. The success of it, from you guys' point of view, you would have been wrapped in the sale, especially topping the sale with the Trotters.
Yeah, look, Pat put a large, all his draft of all his horses he bred that year in the sale this year, and was rewarded with the prices he received. Now, hopefully, those horses will go on for the new connections and win. And Pat, had a lot of money he guaranteed for that race series and that sales series from the horses that went through this year, and he's got some other announcements in respect of what's going on forward. We'll
bring Mark in. I'm not sure if hopefully he's there and it's not his answering machine. No, he's there. Can you hear us there, Mark? Can't hear us, maybe. Wonder what's going on there. Something's going on there. It's not don't know why Mark's not there, but he's not there. He might have us on mute, unfortunately. Okay, I've got to ring him back. So I must have been on his message back, I would say. That's what happens when you go live. Hopefully we can get him this time. Are you there, Mark?
How are you? Yes, mate. Yeah, mate.
Very, very good. I don't know if you actually heard just then, we were just talking about Pat and Haras to Trotter getting behind the race series in its inaugural year, and then there's some great news coming. I'll let Louise say, but basically it does affect you, and I'll get your feedback on it straight after.
Yeah, so Pat has we want to make the announcement that Pat is actually going to commit to sponsoring the 2022 yearling sales. Trotting for the progeny or the horses that go through the Nutrien sale in 2022. He'll be committing to sponsoring that series for the Trotters for 3-year-olds, and he'll be committing $150,000 to that.
Which that's huge, isn't it, Mark?
Oh, absolutely, and I think what we've seen from last sale, we had such a big impact. first, our inaugural start. I think it just gives people that confidence to know that that's ongoing. But no, we're really lucky as an industry, but particularly the nutrients coming into our second style and the ongoing support fantastic.
And it is key, and it comes at a key time as well, this announcement, because you're going to catch up with me on Sunday night, but you've got some big announcements coming as far as dates and things along those lines. But to give people the confidence, off the back of watching the sale the other day and seeing how, well, it wasn't the other day, but earlier in April, seeing how well they actually went at the sale the Trotters sold, it's a lot of confidence, and there was a lot of people sitting on the fence. I'm sure there'll be a lot more Trotters nominating for your sale this year.
Look, and I guess it starts to become self-generating. It gives you the opportunity to see that prize pool hopefully continue to grow. And I think the trotting game was really highlighted. I think it was great to see that horse at Alpha. I think it creates interest too. So it's an exciting time.
No, it is indeed. Unfortunately, you haven't got the greatest reception where you are in outback New South Wales. But I'm going to try and I'll see if I can't lock you in. But for Sunday night, mate, we'll try and have a bit of a catch up, and we'll do a recap over these great announcements as well.
No, fantastic. No, look, we're in northern New South Wales at the moment, and yeah, it's wet and it's not great reception, mate. I'm sorry.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mark. We've got a few more things to announce, but thank you very much for taking 5 minutes to join us, mate. And as I said, Sunday night, you and I will have a good catch up, and we'll have a bit of a wrap up of this announcement as well. So thank you very much, mate.
No, my pleasure. Again, thanks to Pat and Louise and the whole team. It's a really, really important job.
Thank you. Don't know if he said goodbye or not. We'll just hang up on him a little bit earlier. His reception's been a bit dodgy. We're hoping to get him FaceTime, but he said there was no chance of that. But the commitment both ways is key as well. Like Nutrien aren't going anywhere, so the commitment from Pat with Nutrien, but Nutrien with Pat as well. It's going to be a great relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, going forward, it's let's be honest, prize money and increasing prize money and having things there to try to stimulate new owners to come into the sport. Having Nutrien, having Pat, committing to that sponsorship, it does help. Hopefully us breeders too. Knowing that there's a platform for us to sell these products down the track.
Absolutely. Now, when I turned around and said, I got some big announcements and all the rest, I reckon Sarah Gray, she might have just ducked underneath the table or something along those lines when I put that post out, but it definitely wasn't that. But we have got some other big announcements here for the farm, and it's a... Yeah,
so we're, very excited, and happy that little Lucas has arrived. So Sarah and Anton's little boy was born on Monday, and both Sarah and Lucas are very well, and I think Sophie's going to love him dearly.
Well, there's a great photo. We were going to put it up, but we didn't. But she's just doting over him already. So yeah. So I noticed Sarah made sure it was in between breeding seasons as well. I believe she's got a little bit of Calf Macintosh about it.
Yeah. Well, Sarah's a hard-working person who does an amazing job here at the farm, and she'll do an amazing job collecting our boys this year, because they're going to be collected here at the farm this year. So we'll be looking forward to inviting people out to the farm once Classic Connection arrives. He's currently in quarantine in Germany and arrives here at the farm on the 3rd of August.
It's exciting times, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's a new part to my job this year, with the fact that the stallions are going to be collected here. So it'll be really interesting. It's
the depths of winter when we're talking about spring, but it's actually not that far away either.
It's too close.
It is. It's going to be big. This is not the only announcement we're going to have for the Stallion roster. This is by far the end of the Stallion roster. We're going to do it all different ways. We might not do all of them as live feeds and all the rest, but we will be doing it, promoting all of what's got coming. Pat's got to get dot the T's and dot the I's, cross the T's, and get all that sorted as well. But there are plenty more announcements to come.
Yeah, plenty more announcements. Not sure what's going to be happening with the lockdown that's just coming to Victoria. Announced for this evening, but all being well, hopefully I'll be at Shepparton on Monday week.
Yep.
For the Breeders' Fair. So anyone who is in Victoria who can, please come and see us there. The other thing we actually are going to publicise, and for that breeder seminar, anybody that is looking to breed to one of our stallions, we are happy to do a pedigree analysis on that. We have Dave Sanders come back on board for us this year. So if you were looking to be attending that seminar in Shepparton, flick me an email with your mare's name. We'll do a pedigree analysis and I can meet you face to face, hopefully, and hand that on.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a catch up with Dave, and I might actually fast track it a little bit too because of the COVID, because we do have effectively a captive audience, so you sort of think on your feet a little bit, but just to probably give some people some great crosses of which way Classic Connection may go, and then people will actually be able to see a face to him as well, so yes. Then they'll be able to go backwards and forwards. So Dave, if you are watching this, expect a phone call, mate. We might actually try and do a double header on Sunday. I'll catch up with Mark Barton and we might throw it into Dave as well, and promote it that way. But definitely, hopefully, and Breed to Succeed, and again, Haras Trotteurs have got behind the Breed to Succeed, as have a lot of people, and it's a great tool. July 26th, it was going to be live at Shepparton, hopefully. We've just, anyone that's not in Victoria, we've had some unfortunate announcements today with COVID, effective from midnight tonight, but also on August the 8th. Am I right? No, I'm wrong. I've got to get the dates right. No, it is all, what day?
No, it's late August, the one at Ballarat. Yeah,
I'm in trouble.
Might be the 28th.
I can't do that either. I was going to do something then on my computer, and I better not. It is the 28th, which is a Monday as well. It's a Monday night at Ballarat, so that's going to got a lot better chance of being clear from there. So if you are thinking about these, go to the Vic Breeders website. Go there and have a look. Come and have a look at these days. Louise is going to make the trip to Shep, but people here in Ballarat, come into the Ballarat one, the trade fair. It's going to be late August. People are going to be keen anyway about breeding. The weather's going to be warmer. Come and see Pat. I'm not saying Pat will be there, but I reckon he will be. He'll sneak in there. I'll make sure he's there. I'll just wink at that, and be able to get some feedback that you're not expecting with your mares as well. So, and that's key, because I suppose it's one of the big struggles for yourself and a lot of people here is understanding how the Germans form stacks up, the French form stacks up, the Swedish form stacks up, and then how that, I suppose, comes back to our trotters and how that crosses over. So you need experts, you need people who actually understand all of that.
I think there's a lot of people out there that actually spend a lot of time looking at their mares, and had a phone call from a very prominent breeder on the weekend who, said he feels confident now with all his research he's done on his paces, but doesn't really know much about these French trotters, Louise. So I think the more you study, it's not that difficult. You can start to see the nicks and the clicks, and yeah, we're happy to help you out in that respect.
I find what I do, I start Googling stuff. That's how I sort of learnt what I do and all the rest. The easiest thing to do, type in Classic Connection, and you'll get quite a few, and then you go from there. And that's how you can actually, that's the first way, start watching his racing patterns, find out about Mr. Duvois, and you're going to then fall in love with French trotting, like I know Christopher Nozio's have, Matt Craven have, like they, Tim Butt, they're all going back. Every one of them was going back, but unfortunately it just hasn't happened. But as soon as they can, they're going back, and they just love it.
Oh, look, I think I've been very fortunate too. I've been to France, been to Courbois, the training centre, been to Vincennes, saw the horses race there in the flesh, hopefully one day I can get back over there if this crazy world changes. But yeah, it's you need to see it to believe it, or even flick through. I've been fortunate. Pat's given me the 2020 stud book for French trotters, and just to flick through and see the quality, it's pretty amazing. It
is amazing. So anyone that's watching this, we have announced today that Classic Connection, Group 1 winning son of Love You, is going to be standing in Australia, and his semen will be shuttled both to New Zealand and Australia for the service fee of $5,500 in Australia and $5,000 plus GST in New Zealand. Am I right?
Correct.
Right. I've got to make sure I get all these right. If he happens to, if you can win a 2-year-old race, win a race as a 2-year-old, it doesn't have to be a 2-year-old race, because the 2-year-olds can take on the 3-year-olds effectively. If everyone's wondering why, we're just saying, well, if it takes on the 3-year-olds and can beat the 3-year-olds, $3,000 bonus in that year, provided that you paid up by the 31st of the 3rd, and you can go from there. And the race is anywhere in Australia and New Zealand. There's a couple of other little stipulations. Make sure you read all the terms of contracts. You're not signing a contract when you come with me. But then the VSTA are always looking for new members. I'm sure New South Wales Trot, I don't know them, more than happy to reach out and find out who they are. And the New Zealand Standardbred Breeders Association as well, $500 off. and that's another great incentive. It's another reason to be part of all these great trotting organisations.
Yeah, look, I think the more people that become members of these, and then you get feedback and have some input to the things that they're trying to do for the industry, the trotting industry, let's be honest, we all know that it's actually growing at a fast rate. So let's get on board, support the people that are hopefully making some good decisions for us.
And if the horse happens to win a race, if you take it to the nutrient sale, sell it for the nutrient sale, as the person that's paid for the service fee, you get that $3,000 bonus, so then you can reinvest with your mare and continue on, and that is another key component.
Yeah, just remember that, it's a breeder's bonus. The person who actually supports us, who books the mare in, pays for the service fee, they're the ones who are going to get the benefit of the actual bonus.
Louise Toulmin, thank you very much. Won't be the last one because you signed me up for this, so it's your fault. It won't be the last one by any stretch, and the likes. But I appreciate it. I really like the 5 minutes chat, and it's actually starting to pour rain now in Ballarat. It's been a beautiful day here. Everywhere else has been raining, but Ballarat's been a beautiful day. It's starting to rain. Thank you very much. Look forward to bringing some more of these. And as I said, stay tuned to Campbell's Comments because we will be doing quite a few different things, and we'll try and get Dave on, especially just so people can understand what will and won't work with this horse, and how best to probably improve our breed as well and get our breed faster and more on the European stage, world stage, I suppose.
Yep, no worries. Thanks for your time, Paul. But just before I finish, I just want to send my love to Chelsea, Munro and Grace. We've had some pretty traumatic things happen this morning, and just sending all my love to you. You
can take it as much as you like, Chelsea. Same here. I actually know what's going on. Definitely not going to say, but yep. Thank you to everyone that has joined in. We've had a few people, no comments, but that's fine. But please get in touch with Louise and Pat here at Haras to Trotteurs. Be at the Breed to Succeed night at Shepparton. We're going to say it's on at the minute, or the Ballarat one. Come here, visit them, and stay tuned to Campbell's Comments. There's going to be plenty more announcements. So thank you very much, Louise.
No worries. Thanks, Paul.